Hello, I'm Meeks. I'm the Director of the Combined Heat and Power Association. And over the next few minutes, I'd like to take just a little bit of your time to explain to you how Combined Heat and Power, or CHP, is set to be one of the most important energy technologies that is available to us to meet the challenges that we face in energy supply over the next 10 years. The challenges we face in energy supply are considerable. First and foremost, we have climate change. Only last year, the government accepted the recommendations of the Committee on Climate Change that we must be pushing to achieve an 80% cut in our greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 levels by 2050. The Committee on Climate Change also recommended that by 2020, we need to be securing a cut in greenhouse gas emissions by at least 34%. That's an extremely ambitious timeframe and a big challenge to all of us. One of the other big challenges we face is over the affordability of our energy supply. In the last year, we've seen energy prices reach record levels. The oil price almost touched $150 a barrel last year, followed by the entry of the world economy into a period of recession. And that period of recession now means that businesses, householders and communities alike now need to consider very carefully the cost and the affordability of their energy supplies. Managing our dependence upon energy imports and ensuring that we secure investment in the new energy infrastructure that is going to ensure the reliability of energy supplies is the third major challenge that we face. There are many technologies that are available to us which might be able to meet one or perhaps balance two of these challenges, but there are very few which are able to meet all three. Combined heat and power is one of them. And it is able to do this by making our fuel go further. The International Energy Agency have undertaken an analysis which demonstrates the wastefulness that is inherent in our current electricity supply system. They've demonstrated that between half and 2/3 of the energy that is consumed in the power generation process is actually lost as waste heat from the power station. At the same time, right across the country, where we have a need for heat in our homes, in our businesses, in our industry, we're burning fuel again in boilers to provide that need. Wouldn't it be better if instead of wasting the heat in power generation, we were able to put that heat to work, replacing the fuel that would be burned in boilers? This is exactly the principle upon which combined heat and power operates. So having achieved these savings through making the fuel go further, how does this help in addressing the three challenges which I set out earlier? Affordability, climate change, and energy security. Let's start with affordability. Quite simply, if we're using less fuel, we're buying less fuel, and therefore we're able to pay less overall for the energy which we consume. In today's economic climate, that really is an important advantage, and it's one where CHP has a huge role to play. If we look at an international league table of how much CHP contributes to the overall power production, we can see that the United Kingdom sits well behind the international average. Here, CHP provides only 7% of our electricity supply, whereas across many of the OECD countries, the average is something like 9%. Indeed, in the Netherlands, combined heat and power is used to meet something approaching 30% of electricity supply. What that means is that the cost base for much of manufacturing in those countries is much improved, and those countries are being afforded a major competitive advantage. The United Kingdom simply can't afford to sit still and fail to take advantage of the benefits that combined heat and power offers. Turning to climate change, the ability of CHP to make fuel go further is also an important benefit. Carbon emissions are a direct consequence of us burning fuel. If we're able to use the same amount of fuel to deliver much more in terms of useful energy, then that means we're able to reduce our carbon emissions. Those carbon savings from combined heat and power are very much within our grasp. A little over a year ago, the government undertook analysis which indicated that there is something like 10,000 megawatts of additional combined heat and power capacity which could be put in place within industry by 2015. These findings have been backed up by a number of independent studies, most notably some work that the consultancy Poiri undertook for Greenpeace in the middle of last year. Both studies point to the major potential to put combined heat and power to work on major industrial sites. What it means is that instead of building power stations in remote locations, far away from any site which could use the heat, we could instead build the next generation of power stations on these major industrial sites, realising the energy savings and achieving major reductions in carbon emissions. Based on the government's estimates for new combined heat and power capacity, we estimate that there is the opportunity to save another 10 million tonnes of carbon dioxide through industrial CHP by 2015. If we went on to put CHP to work in our communities and in our buildings, on district heating systems and the like, then we could achieve another 19 million tonnes of carbon dioxide savings. We simply can't afford, in the face of the ambitious targets that we have, we simply can't afford to let these opportunities for carbon savings pass us by. With combined heat and power, we can make sure that we make the best use of the fuel that we have, thereby helping to manage our dependency on imports. It also means that when we face the consequences of a tightening in the global supply of energy, we can manage that situation as well. We won't be as exposed to high energy prices, and similarly, we will be able to put off the time when that tightening supply of energy actually affects the reliability of supplies here in the UK. To sum up, it is apparent that climate change is not stopping. It is apparent that energy costs are still putting severe pressures on household budgets and businesses' bottom line. And it's also apparent that we're going to need new electricity generating capacity. What we need to begin doing is investing in proven, reliable and cost-effective technologies to meet these challenges. We need combined heat and power to help make our fuel go further.